Hello everyone, this is Goose Gang Racing back with another Zed Run explained video. The topic for today's video is flames and variance and what they mean. So first things first is what are flames in Zed Run? The flames represent that horse is favored to finish in the top three of the race. It's noted on the site as this racehorse looks slightly stronger against the rest of the field, but that really doesn't hold true in all cases. In a lot of the cases, it'll actually be a negative. But so you can see here on the right side, that little message that shows up with the flames, and also that gates 1, 4, and 6 have the flame. It's that little fire icon next to the horse. This is very dependent on the competition. So a horse might flame against weaker competition, but when it enters paid racing and it's against other top horses in its class, it might lose these flames, and that is an indicator that it's not as strong as it might have appeared to be at first. These flames have different meanings in 12-horse races and 6-horse races, and they also mean different things depending on what style of race you're racing, whether that's a top 3 race or a double up, or maybe even like in the 6 horses, the winner take alls and top 2s. So I will explain how flames work and show you some examples and how you can actually use this to identify strong horses early on in their career and maybe buy them up cheap on Haku. So the horse that I'll be showing you is my horse, Scorched Trials. So you can see here, it has very high variance, which means it's good at top 3s and winner take all races. It's a sprinter because it has -94 distance preference, and it has low BA and a low level because which means that it's a class 6 horse. The main reason is because it's of its breed type, but for now in Zed Run that's kind of irrelevant. So for Scorched Trials, in 12-horse races at its sprinter distances, it will pretty much always flame. And this flame is because it has high variance. So if we go back to this slide, you can see how much of the time that it will finish in the top 3. This is higher than other horses in this race because it has such a wide range of speeds it can run that its top end speed will always put it in the top 3. So you can see here the horses that flamed are Scorched Trials in gate 1, Zucchini in gate 9, and Willet in gate 11. So here is the simulation from zsim.run. This is an amazing website that I recommend to everyone, and it really makes it obvious what I'm trying to explain here with variance. So you can see here on the top, so there's win percentage, in the money percentage, ROI, 7 through 12 percentage, class level, average speed, variance, power, the estimated finish position, and the total sample size. So the first things first is that you see here, Scorched Trials is considered the favorite to win, and that is because it has the most variance. So you can see going down in order of most likely to win, it's horses that have the highest variance. So Scorched Trials has 11.7, Dragon D's, great name, has 8.9, Willet has 8, Prawn Cracker has 7.9, and so on and so forth, and you go down and down and down. And as you get less and less variance, you become less and less likely to win. And basically, in these top 3 races, you want the highest variance because it means you will be the most likely to win, which is why you are joining a top-heavy payout structure. So, 12-horse flames. Flames represent the horses with the highest variance in most cases. You have to analyze the field of horses that you are racing against to truly understand what the flames mean, because if you race in a different type of field, you might flame or lose flames depending on what other types of horses you're racing against. So an example of this is in a field of very, very low variance horses. Let's go back to this one right here. Think like a horse of like 2.2. If all the horses are 2 and then Scorched Trials is in that race, it actually won't flame because it will not finish in the top half enough times because it will be too busy finishing at the bottom end. I'm just going to go back here. And so the other thing that is really important is this 7 through 12 percentage. So you see here, this is the estimated of its 7 through 12 finish position, and Scorch Trials actually has one of the highest in the race, despite also being considered the most likely to win. So that's because of high variance. So variance is mirrored. When a horse is most likely to finish first, it is also most likely to finish last. So flames in double ups most of the time will mean that your horse has too much variance and it won't actually finish in the top half more than 50% of the time, which is what it takes to be ROI positive in double up racing. So in 12 horse races in general, flames mean you have the highest variance and that you are favored to finish top 3. And now it's up to you to determine if that is a good or bad thing for your horse and if that will result in you being ROI positive. So the next thing, I'm going to use Scorch Trials again just because you understand the kind of style of this horse. It's a sprinter with super high variance. And you can see here in this 6 horse race, it does not flame. So what we have to remember is that flames represent the ability of a horse, the likelihood that a horse will finish in the top 3. And this does not consider or doesn't weight first any higher than it does second or third. So all of these horses with flames are actually more likely to finish second through 4th than the horses without flames. So let's just quickly show the Z-Sim. So you can see here, Scorch Trials in this race is again the highest variance, which means it has the highest win percentage. But you see the horses with flames, so Fast Horse, My Donk, and Berserk Empire, they actually have lower variance and they aren't considered the favorite to win. That is because they don't have enough variance to actually get the winning run, which is what is required in 6 horse racing. You need to have that super high top end speed to actually get a win. Whereas Scorch Trials, even though it doesn't finish, even though it has the lowest average speed, it's because of its incredible variance that it can actually win. But again, it will finish last most of the time in these style of races. So just a quick recap of what 6 horse races are. So the lowest variance horses will flame. This does not mean they have the highest win equity, as we saw in that last race, where the horses that flamed, even though they might be one of the favorites, it usually means that they are not the favorite in the race. And this can be a very good way, and using 6 horse flames is an amazing way to learn more about your horse when you race it in free races. I'll go a little more into depth with that right here. So all of these tools I've been showing you are useful for when you have an incredibly large sample of races that you've already raced with that horse. And most of the time, that's not really useful because if you don't know how to identify a horse early on, you'll never get to those 100, 200 race numbers because you'll give up on a horse too early. So the things to consider are what type of racer are you looking for? A stable horse or a variance horse? And this is determined from the parents, so you can kind of look at what the parents were. And if the parents were variance, you know you're looking for a variance horse. And if the parents were stable and low variance, you know you're looking for a stable horse. So when you're putting it in these free races, you can use flames to basically try to determine its preferred distance and basically follow the flames. Wherever you flame the most, you should run more. And then you can look into each of these races and determine what these flames are actually meaning, or even the loss of flames. So if you're flaming against higher level horses, after you find your preferred distance, that usually means that you have low variance and that you might be a good double up horse. If you are losing flames against lower level horses at your preferred distance and you're still winning, that might mean you have very high variance and that these horses are simply taking the flames from you just because of your incredibly high variance comparatively. So the other thing is to check if it's winning free races. So after you run your couple free races, you need to check its finish distribution. And if you are looking for a double up horse, which is a stable horse, you want to see a lot of second places. And you want to make sure that you keep flaming in your preferred distance, because in these 6 horse races, flames mean that you are a lowest variance horse in the race and you are a favorite to finish in the top half, which is very good for double up horses. And if you're a variance horse, you're basically looking for firsts only. You don't care about anything else. You can have 5 lasts and 3 firsts, and that's amazing because that means you have very high variance. And then lastly, you can check its paid results. And this is where you can basically determine the value of a horse most of the time. And that's all I have for you guys today. In my next video, I'll be going over distance preference and looking more in depth into individual horses to kind of show you a way to identify these horses on Haku and using the tools that I've showed you earlier. This is Goose Gang Racing. Subscribe if you want more Zed Run content, and I'll see you in the next one.